some of your guys' chats here. Somebody said Joel out of control. I'm not out of control, y'all. You guys just need to wake up. Laura Baby says, thanks, Joel. That was a blast. Right on. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 coming up. Joel's out, Prince in the heaters. Chris said, black pill. This is hilarious. He says, black pill. You can get away with a little bit of beta if you're as attractive as Joel. Listen here.
Black pill.
Listen here. This is alpha conversations, okay?
That's something to say to you.
This is alpha conversation. Joel, you trying to get on CNN. Look, chat. Look here. Look here. When
Still going on Joel's show?
I think I'm off my show. We're on Nick's now. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
We're on Nick's stream. No. American Anchor Baby.
We're not?
Yeah,
we are.
It's streaming and it's showing Joel only.
Yeah, that's okay.
You've come a long
we're
way.
doing that on purpose. He's reading the chat as we're setting up here.
You've come. Yeah, but what'd you guys think about that last mess? I'm telling you, those cringy videos were.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
I think you're the only one who feels like they're cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to watch back.
True.
Old stuff.
Oneself.
Yeah.
We're still on mic, and it's Anchor Baby, huh? Splash screen.
I did that on purpose.
Cool.
Hey, can you talk?
This is crazy.
Testing.
The only
Joel?
thing is.
And
Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I'm the American Anchor Baby. Appreciate you tuning into my show. We're going to keep it going. I know everybody's here from the last show. We were just watching Joel Friday. We're going to keep the ball rolling. Much appreciated, though. I see everybody on hold. Do not go anywhere. We're about to get to all of you, okay? Appreciate you being with me. Make sure you drop that follow, subscribe here on the YouTube channel, American Anchor Baby. There's a party go. We got the party started on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. The party is starting, so make sure you tune in over there if you want to support me elsewhere. Otherwise, though, we got a nice show ahead. We're going to just jump right back into pretty much the crew here. We got the crew in here. We got Joel, Hassan, and James. And I do appreciate, Joel, you bringing starting the Bond rift. No, I'm that's a joke. Yeah. But bringing Bond some of the best content lately, so.
Right on.
It's awesome. So let me make sure I have everybody unmuted here. Hake,
Testing.
Are we hearing you?
Indeed.
Very good.
Oh.
Very
Choo.
So, Bill, I guess these are the only cameras I have available, huh? I can only do...
No, you never made any
this if I want to show Hassan, and this if I want to
Side
show the
camera.
guys, right? Okay.
Okay, so
because,
just switch every time. Can you sew his on too?
Hassan, we're doing a little live training here. Do you see the A10 program in front of you? Okay, camera. This current shot right now is camera 2. My shot is camera 1, and your shot is camera 3. So that's all. That's all. I'll leave that up to you, Hassan.
Okay.
So he's gonna have to go back and forth between the shots, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have a 4 shot
you working today.
So
Bill
Hassan's
can-
going to be managing this.
Unless Bill can
No,
set
I'll
up a
just
4
be.
shot.
I'm coming to just be audio.
Okay, so then.
Oh, Hassan.
Well, no,
But
we'll
anyways.
just do them. If you could.
But
we'll
you're going to
just-
have to do the switching for us.
Yeah, you're gonna have to toggle through
In
everything.
general.
Yeah.
Even you though, if you talk, you should be on camera.
Yeah, put yourself on. We want you on camera. So, we have calls. We have everything. Let me just say right off the bat.
I should have set it up. Like I set up mine. With the 4. I had the 4 that I set up on mine, but
that's set up. But
that's okay.
they got it handled.
Yeah.
If we guys set up
That's
the
right.
4 shot, do that. If Hassan just switches around as we're talking, that is fine as well.
Yeah.
So you played some clips at the end of your show.
Yeah.
And I don't think you got a chance to comment on them or really. You comment on
A little bit, but just I'll briefly go to it. But I just was talking about how in those clips that I was from 2017 is when I was answering all Jesse's questions complete honesty. He asked me if I felt like a woman. He asked me if it was hard dating women. I said, yeah, I was afraid of them and all these things. But even back then, I didn't have any shame about my honesty. Like, I wasn't shameful. The shame didn't come until after I felt like, oh, no, I never, ever should say anything like that ever again. But the point I was making is that I had dated somebody who came from the Bond church, and the very first video they seen of me was me on the Fallen State, and that person had reached out to me and said that they were inspired by how honest I was, and that it's hard for them to be as honest as that. So for whatever reason, it had inspired her to, I don't know, maybe want to be a little bit more honest with herself, maybe want to do this. And then later on, she ends up coming to the church. We end up talking, and then we end up dating. We're not dating anymore. But that was a thing. And what drew her to me was my honesty. And then when I had got into the relationship, my honesty completely left. Because I was trying so hard not to be honest, not to tell my problems, not to show weakness, all these things. And I end up pushing her away. I end up ruining the relationship. Now, mind you, there were some things there that were righteously not expressed, because obviously, like we're talking about, there would have been some judgment and stuff like that. But I changed, even though what drew that person to me was the honesty. So, and then I pushed that person away because I was trying to hide. So that's why I show those clips to show that there's also strength in honesty when there's no shame attached to it, when there's no insecurity attached to it, when it's just real and confident in that's the reality, right? So that's why I show the clips.
That girl didn't know what strength was. That girl didn't know. That girl wouldn't have no strength. No. Straight up. But
Yeah, the chat's going hard on Joel right now.
but
Yeah, they've been going.
but there's an essential lesson in there, and that's what I said. That's what I was saying on my show.
Yeah.
So let me just put some respect on Joel and Hassan here. What was it here, real quick, before we get right into calls? It was something you said. Oh yeah, about the framing of the conversation. You mentioned Stacy. You mentioned the conversation that we're having, and about being vulnerable or about being honest and,
Yeah.
and being easy to talk to.
Yeah.
Making that space for someone so that someone could
Yeah.
come up to you and talk to you.
Yeah.
What do you think about Hassan when he said, but the guy, what about when the guy says it's over? Like he sets the framework. It's up to him.
You mean like
we're not talking about
he
this
shuts
now.
it down?
Or he
Okay.
chooses when that vulnerability happens,
Okay,
when that
okay.
space happens.
Okay. First off, I don't
I
think
thought it was pretty
that-
tough.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Hassan.
right. First off, I don't think that vulnerability and men should be in the same sentence. I want to get that clear because everybody keeps thinking that that's like what I'm saying. No, vulnerability and men shouldn't be in the same sentence because I think vulnerability, the word itself is feminine. I say honest. So address me properly, chat. Okay. Secondly, I think Hassan does have because that does come off as tough to females, right? Like, he's just so tough, he's so cold. Trust me, I've heard it before, right? But there's a time where that part is necessary because, like James was saying, I think James was saying, is that they try to do like an I got you moment, or they try to point out your issues, and at that moment, you have nothing to prove to them, so then you can shut it down, right? And Hassan also said, in a case of an emergency, you don't have time to explain, then keep it real. But there's also a necessary side of love, and I'm saying of love, godly virtue, to be patient, listen, and be gentle with the situation when it's proper, when it calls for it, because sometimes the woman or whoever you're talking to really just needs that. So I think it's just knowing when to be tough, knowing when to be a little bit more loose with it. That's my opinion.
Thanks. Yeah, dynamic in the moment. Totally.
Boom. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, that's essentially. Yeah, I played that on my show, and I couldn't find much disagreement with that particular scenario. I know it's a particular scenario, but when it happens, you can even have light in that situation. If you really wanted to start a showdown, we should have talked about you calling in your own show. And go,
I know.
And go, and thanks for keeping it at that. Now that's a war. No, but let's get into calls here. Let me get to. You know what, guys? Let's get to caller number 4. We got. Am I pressing the correct button here? We got JLP in the house, I believe. I don't know who this. There's probably many Jesse Lee Petersons out there in California, so I'm not sure which one this is. But I believe, sir, you're on the air.
Hello?
Is it me?
That's the one.
Are you on speaker?
No, I'm off my speaker now.
Are you sure?
Never, ever, 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 folks.
Well, I had to put y'all on hold while I still work.
Nice.
I was trying to read group.
He's kind of low, though. He's coming in low.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
That's a little better. Yeah, come close to your phone.
I am.
Nice.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So, interesting conversation that you guys are having.
Yeah.
So I want to ask Joel.
Yeah.
When he sees his weakness, does he think it's necessary to tell the woman or do anything about it?
You said when I see my weakness?
Yes.
For one, I don't think that it's necessary to, when I see it, to like automatically just start speaking it. But I feel like not to hide from it either. I don't.
But how are you hiding from it if you see it?
How am I hiding from it if I see it?
Yes.
Oh, because you see it within, but you can hide from it by trying to avoid the embarrassment of it if you're asked or people want to know or whatever.
Do you believe that you're your weakness?
No, I don't think that we're weak. I don't even think it is weakness. I don't even judge it as, well, I try not to judge it, right, as weakness. I don't see it as weakness. That's why I don't see the problem with it.
Do you see that you think by telling her she's going to admire you for it?
I think that there's admirable moments where it's necessary and called for, and she will. And I've had a perfect example, like I explained about the clips, where the quote-unquote weakness that I showed was admirable to her.
But what you don't realize, first of all, you're not your weakness. You're supposed to admit it to yourself by seeing it and do nothing about it.
Right.
So there's nothing anyone else can do about it. And when the woman heard you on the show talking about how you was, that was how you was. You weren't that way then. And she came to your rescue because women believe they can save men.
But that's your take on it.
They believe that they can convert men, they can save you, right? And so she came to you because you were weak, not because you were strong. And when you started to grow into strength, she didn't want to deal with you anymore.
There's a possibility that happened.
Truth,
but the thing is, the thing is, Jesse, is that sometimes, how do you know for a fact that every woman is that way? I don't believe that. And for one, I feel like you believe that that's the case for all women. And it's not.
For every woman on this side that's born through the woman, they're like that until they overcome the woman.
So what about the women who had good fathers? What about the women who were raised by good men who return to the father, who have forgiven,
They wouldn't
who are
ask you.
on the right track?
They would never even ask you.
Right, but
They would
he's
not
not talking
ask you.
about
They would not-
asking. He's not
They
talking
would
about
not come
asking.
to you
They
and
would
say,
see your nervous face or whatever and be like, okay, that's literally nothing. That's
Right.
emotion. That's
But
literally
then-
nothing. Let
but-
me
They
move
would
on.
not come to you and say, "Oh,
Right.
I admire you. You were so open. That's so nice." Well, they were saying, "I came to you because you're weak, and I need a man that I can control."
I disagree though.
Why would a woman come to a weak man?
Because that's not weak. That's the whole thing, is that you're looking at it as weak. It's not
How's it
weak.
strength?
It is strength because it's strength in the sense of the fact that you're not ashamed of it. You're not insecure about it. It's what you're dealing with. And
So
obviously,
you're dealing with
but-
spirits.
Boy, be
and
like, what
you're
the?
You're dealing with spirits, and the spirits in you are not you. So
I
it's
know
not even
that.
You.
I know that, but
you can
But
hide.
He doesn't know that.
You can hide out of insecurity, or you can hide out. You can hide out of respect.
But you're not hiding because there's nothing anyone can do about it. You're just seeing it, and God will take care of it. What are you hiding from? That's not being.
you're hiding because.
It's not within yourself that you have it. It's hiding.
But I'm gonna tell you, right? Exactly. But that's why
What you
people
tell somebody
hide.
else about it don't prove that you're brave and wonderful.
It doesn't, but sometimes the moment is called for. You asked me on the show, on the Fallen State, you asked me, do you feel like a woman? What am I supposed to say? I don't want to show my weakness.
Can we get this out of the way? Jesse, do you see at all the virtue in this is totally hypothetical, and I know, hypothetical, weird. But a hypothetical situation where a woman sees a weakness in you and you are able to turn that around and still be strong in that moment, and she sees everything. Do you see the virtue in that a little bit? There's some truth there or something?
Repeat that. I'm sorry.
Let me try to be clear. Joel brings up a sort of hypothetical situation where a woman sees a nervousness or a weakness in you, okay? Maybe she sees you angry. She just totally sees it in you. And do you see that there's any virtue in honesty in that moment, and that it can look like strength. It can be strength to be honest in that moment.
No, there's no strength in telling a woman your problem.
Okay, can I give you an example?
So if you see it, then you need to just see it and overcome it.
Right. I totally don't get this whole thing about being honest means telling people. And I was saying that on your show.
From the women.
Yeah,
That's
I was saying that on Joel
thinking.
Friday's podcast. Yeah, I'm totally honest. I'm super honest. I'm like hardcore against myself, maybe in a wrong way, but that's inside.
Yeah.
But that being said, Jesse, you put some respect on Joel. I think we were talking some one time, and you kind of saw that there may be a time and place where honesty in that situation is strong. Put it on
I don't
blast.
quite understand the statement, to be honest.
Okay, so can I? I'll give you a.
Deontay, I think he was from Florida.
Yeah, Orlando.
Absolutely right. A man should never.
I know you
show
love.
weakness
I know you love him.
because he's telling the truth, and the women need.
I disagree though, but
Jesse loves
you
you
believe
too.
that that's the truth. I know, right?
I love you too, Joe, even though you're weak.
But I think that's weakness. That viewpoint that you have is quote unquote. For one, I don't even think that
Well,
the
then,
weakness
hold on.
thing exists.
I don't want you to.
But I just
don't-
about to ask you the question, and then you didn't let me ask it.
Oh, let me tell you this. I don't want you to change. Stay weak and see what happens.
I know, but yeah, you stay weak too. But listen really quick to my question.
Ding ding.
Is if somebody has, which one is better? If somebody has fear, right, and they don't know that it's not real, right?
Right.
And then they have fear, and then they see somebody else who they believe who doesn't have fear. So they put that person on a pedestal because they think that person is perfect, right? And they're like, wow, I see him. He's so courageous. He's so brave, but I'm not like him because he doesn't feel what I feel, right? Which one's better? Them seeing that person as perfect, or that person saying, hey, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. I was I had a little bit of fear in here. I know that that's not real, but I still felt that. But I faced my fears anyway, and I got up and did it, and I overcame. Which one looks more encouraging to the person who has fear? The perfect man or the man who overcame and walked into perfection?
the person that is living in their imagination and see people that way.
That wasn't I gave you 2 options.
Repeat the option again.
The person that's perfect, who the other person thinks that they can't relate to because they're perfect, or the person who had fear at one point but overcame the fear by facing the fear. What's more inspiring to the person with fear?
Number one, I don't know. The question is so not.
Can I answer it?
No, wait, no. Let Jesse answer it.
Yeah, Mama.
Let Jesse answer.
Number one is that you're supposed to.
I know. Sorry. Sorry, Dick.
You're supposed to overcome those things within yourself, not to inspire or anything for anyone else.
Yep.
No.
That's not your thing. Is that you want to be born again of the Father, and you don't want to be born again of the Father to inspire or give an image or to make people feel anything or believe anything.
But if there's an opportunity there to where you can explain to them that you're no different than them, that they can overcome just like you overcame, why not do it though? Why try to pretend that you don't also have thoughts that you're dealing with? You also don't have things that you're overcoming. Why not make that apparent if it can help somebody else?
But once you overcome those things and you give a talk or something about, I once had that kind of fear, you're able to tell them how to overcome that fear. But if you still have fear, how are you going to tell them how to overcome the fear when you still have it?
Yeah, because then you don't really know. You're not really living it.
You don't really know.
You do, but I'm going to tell you how because there is no no or not. Because let me tell you this, and then I'm going to let Nick do his thing because I don't want to.
No, I didn't say on my show for that reason. I said I wanted to answer it, but I also want to hear Jesse.
Yeah, but because the thought is not real in the first place. It's not real in the first place. So if you didn't believe into it, you wouldn't have it, right? But there's times that you believe into it, and there's times that other people believe into it. So if you as a person still believe or still wrestling with thoughts or still have these problems, right? Then why try to pretend like you don't for the sake of somebody not judging you? I don't understand why we need to pretend.
Because it's kind of none of her business, because that's her lesson. Your lesson is you're going through your life and you're learning your things. Right. If she's judging you about that, that's her lesson to learn and overcome, and she's wrong for that on her own. Maybe a conversation might come up, but that's her lesson. You see what I'm saying?
But why can't she learn? But why can't she learn
That's what she has to go through.
Why can't she learn from my errors? Why can't she learn from my mistakes?
That's a possibility.
No. I think what happens, man, is you know how like a father leading by example doesn't even have to really say anything. It doesn't even really matter what he's going through. He may have weaknesses or not have weaknesses, but in silence is when you overcome, and when you're not distracting yourself with outside input or talking about an issue that you want to deal with. That's the best way to overcome stuff, is in that silence where you're not at all looking outside or trying to preach to another person.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or even to go back to the scenario that you gave him. It sounded like you were giving him 2 bad examples and asking which is better.
No. Okay. So look. I'll just say this real quick: is that
I don't even understand what he means, what he's thinking.
Well, I know. That's the whole point. That's why I'm trying to make the point. But the thing is that for me, there's so many points that are made. James made the point about. I just think that realistically, this happens. I know it's ideal to not believe the thoughts. I know that she shouldn't ask because it's not her business. I know all that stuff is true, right? But let's get back to reality, right? That happened. She's gonna ask, right? We still battle with the thoughts, right? So why are we pretending that we don't? That's my whole thing. Why are we pretending that we don't deal with the thoughts? And why are we putting out that perception to people that we don't? that we've overcome all things, that we're perfect. Why?
That's their mind.
What? But what is the strength of saying that? No, but I've heard Jesse do it. What is the strength?
But you never heard him pretend.
No, but I've heard him say that, or avoid saying certain things because maybe not looking this way, or people ask him questions.
Well, why are you going around saying you don't feel anything anyways?
What do you mean?
Like you're
don't even bring it up.
Yeah, you're saying, well, they're gonna see it anyways, and why are we pretending that we're not going through stuff? Well, why are you going in this hypothetical? Why are you going around saying you don't go through stuff in the first place?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that other extreme either. I'm just saying being normal. That's
exactly what I'm saying. Why are you going around saying that you like? The question wouldn't be there if you then go out and put that out there saying.
Okay, I'll give you an example. My mom asked me if I was nervous for church.
Okay.
I was like, I'm doing Jesse's church this weekend, and she's like, "Are you nervous?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a little nervous." What's wrong with that? Who could tell me?
But that's silly. Like I don't see anything wrong with that.
It might be wrong. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Jesse thinks that's wrong. It's a woman.
No, I don't. I think you're maybe assuming, and we have him on the air, so he can answer.
What was wrong with her saying nervous? What's wrong with that?
Like it could be wrong, like Jay said, but also it could be just a silly throwaway comment, and you didn't really think anything about it.
They're all silly throwaway comments to me. That's what I'm saying. They're all silly throwaway stuff. It's like
but not when you think you could tell your woman your problem.
Because it's only because I'm looking at the problem as bad, embarrassing. She's gonna judge me. I don't want her to judge me. I don't want that. But who cares?
But you're assuming that this keeping your inner life, dealing with your fallen state to yourself is out of an image of projecting an image, but it's not. It's out of dealing with yourself.
Yeah, but if my mom asked me if I'm nervous or how do I feel, or not, she didn't ask me how do I feel, but she asked me, are you nervous? I told her, yeah. Why would I lie, though? Well, why would I lie about that?
You know why it's silly? Because she's not asking you, it's nothing that deep.
You don't even have to lie.
If she was asking you, does your girlfriend ever hurt you? Like, it's like, whoa, why are you asking me that? Did you see what I'm trying to say? She asked you something silly. Are you nervous to do public speaking? Like, that's not revealing your problems.
Okay, so let's just use that example.
You're just saying, yeah, and anybody, that can happen to anyone. Do you see how that's not really revealing something that deep?
It's not like that deep. But to me, it's like the same thing. I just don't see it like, I'm just looking at it like this, is that like, I'm only afraid to say it because I'm ashamed of it in some kind of way. Now, obviously, it's not smart to just say anything and everything at any time. I disavow that because you may be saying things at the wrong moment and somebody may use it against you or turn it on you. So be wise. But I'm not saying, I'm not going to tell her that I loved her 2 times in a row. I'm not going to tell her that I wasn't nervous. I'm not going to tell her that, was there fear that came in my mind that I believed in? Yeah, that happened. But guess what? I still went on stage. I still faced the fears. And I realized I learned a lesson from it. So maybe that might encourage them to do it. Why not say it?
But they'll be encouraged to do it whether you say that or not. Like, that's partly what my point was with the father not presenting any weakness, just being an example. That's inspiring. But Jesse's right that you shouldn't be looking to inspire anybody or to be inspired by anybody.
Right, but then
think that because they're just living an example.
Okay, so if we're gonna live an example, let's end all the podcasts. We don't need to talk. Let's just live it, be an example. Let's just be an example. But we talk, why? Because it helps other people. Jesse does counseling. It helps other people. So if we're just going to be an example, let's just stop all the podcasts and let's just walk with our halos and let people see it.
You may not have noticed. Maybe you haven't been paying attention, but we're being an example right now.
But I think that's turning into like taking that to extremes.
No, I think that's why Jesse has
when you
this
say
podcast.
Let's stop talking, you're taking it to extremes, like you're using a false logic there.
And plus, when you're talking during your podcast, you're pointing people back to the source with your words. You're not pointing them toward you or anyone else. You're pointing them to the source that can help them. But instead of talking to important that way.
But so why am I not still pointing them to the source by saying, yes, I was nervous, but that's a thought. You don't believe into it.
Yes, I remember when I started Bond, and I was young, I was scared, but I didn't tell anyone. I just kept it to myself. I saw that I was scared.
But when did they ask
went
you?
through it, and then after it was gone, I talked about how I had this fear, and it's disappeared. It's
Well, that's
gone
easy
now.
to do. You know what you did? You know what you did? In my opinion, that's easy to do when you overcome it and then say, oh, I used to.
That's the way it works.
But it takes more courage to be like, no, I am.
No, it doesn't.
What you
No.
mean? Because that's why people don't do it, because they're embarrassed.
No, what it is, they don't do it because
You don't necessarily
you're not
know it's
supposed to be
because of
reaching
embarrassment.
out to the world for sympathy and feeling sorry for
I don't
you.
feel that way.
But
I
that's
don't feel
what
that
women
way.
have you thinking when you go around telling them how, oh, I'm so scared, yeah, I'm nervous. Yeah. They're feeling sorry for you.
Well, I don't care. That's not why I'm saying it.
But that's the woman's mindset, and when you go along with it, you go along with her mindset.
Well, then let her believe that that's not what I'm believing. That's on her. Bye.
Well, what good
Right?
would it? But what good would it do you to do that? I don't get the point of it. The outside world can't save you from the spiritual.
Because some people are so locked in this idea of their emotions, and they believe them so much, and they're paralyzed by this fear that's not real, right? I got to keep saying that for everybody. But they're locked in this, paralyzed by this fear, right? They think they can't do it, but they might be a little inspired by somebody who also had fear and they did it, right? You're inspiring them to do what they feel they can't do.
I don't even understand that. But let's say that a woman heard your weakness. She came running because she heard your weakness. I just love you for that. Once you became strong, do they still love you?
Say it again.
If a woman is drawn to you due to your weakness, is she still drawn to you due to your strength?
Well, she was drawn to me. She's not, and there may be a woman that's drawn to by the weakness, but I don't see.
All women are drawn to men for weakness because they hate the man for being weak, so they want to control.
But I don't see that. That's the whole thing. Is that I don't see that as weakness. I don't see it as weakness, to be honest, in that way. You see it as weakness, so you're thinking that, oh, she's drawn to weakness. I don't see that as weakness. I see that as
she sees
being.
it as weakness.
But either way, you don't want to judge it.
She may not see it as weakness. You're thinking that she's going to see it as weakness.
I promise you, she sees it as weakness.
But you don't know all women to believe that way. A lot do. A lot do. But see, that's the thing. That's the mindset, though. That's the mindset that's unmoving. That I don't agree with. Is that you're very locked in on an idea, and you can never be wrong about it. And that's the whole thing.
You don't agree that it's the same spirit?
I feel like people have that spirit. They have that negative spirit, but there's also a good spirit in people as well. There's God in people as well. So there's times where they are being genuine, and we can't just paint the brush that, oh, she's just automatically trying to control you or judge you, and then we can't approach them in that way. Because what about the times when they are? When they are being genuine and they really want somebody to, or they're really looking for somebody to be brave in their fear that they're dealing with, or whatever the case is.
But I just want to jump in because you brought up that example.
But not to cut. Let me just ask Jesse this one thing. Jesse, do you think that it's possible that there are women out there that genuinely want help?
I see the women all the time that want help, and they're changing, and I deal with them, but they're not doing it in the way that you're saying that they should be doing. They used to do it in that fallen state. But they're not in. They don't deal with men like that anymore. They don't even are not even attracted to weak men anymore.
But so they're only attracted to men.
Emotional man. They don't want to know.
It's
that
not
about
But why? It's not emotional. It's not emotional.
You don't think fear is an emotion?
Right, but it's not. It's not. You recognizing it is separating you from the emotion. Right. You're not going with it, but you're still.
You are going with it. You put it out there.
Right. So then if you're still going with your thoughts, if you still have your thoughts that you go with and you're trying to overcome, are you going to at all times deny that you don't have thoughts?
I don't understand. James, go ahead. I don't really understand the question.
You know how you presented this example of the girl seeing you on the fallen state, messaging you, and then a year or so later she comes to church and you guys, you don't want to, just like you say that Jesse has a mindset that was out of weakness, approaching your weakness. You don't want to have a mindset that positive that was a positive thing.
That's true too.
Because you have a mindset, oh, this is a good thing.
I agree with that.
When you're in the middle of a relationship, you're
and
thinking that's a good thing.
And that's a good point. And it could be wrong. And let's just say you guys are right about that situation. Maybe she was attracted to that way. But why? But in
I'm not
Jesse's
even saying
mind,
that necessarily.
Though,
I'm just saying that it's that you judge that as a positive
thing. But why
thing.
can't it be positive? Why can't it have been a positive? Why can't I have seen it clearly? Why does it have to be me looking at it as wrong? And that's the approach that Jesse takes about the whole scenario. That no, that's wrong. But how do you know? You know, and of course I say that respectfully to everybody. But how do you guys know that it was wrong? And you guys are telling me, oh, well, that she was attracted to your weakness. How do you know that? I was in the relationship.
It sounds like you went from one wrong extreme of sharing weakness to the other wrong extreme of hiding weakness out of pride.
That's what happened, for sure.
That's not what JLP is talking about when he says don't tell a woman your problems. He's not saying hide out of. He's not saying hide out of fear.
He's saying never, ever, ever say anything ever. That's what he's saying.
I know, but he's not saying you're ascribing a motivation that's not there.
Well, let him tell me. What are you telling? Don't you say never, ever, ever?
But you're saying it out of
weakness?
You're talking about hiding it out of ego, which is what you apparently were doing.
I'm just saying finding a perfect point that James said is that I went to one extreme to the next, but I should meet in the middle to where why can't you at times in the right moments say what you're dealing with, but at the same time have that strength and be able to cut it off when she's acting a certain way or being a certain way and check that when that happens. You can have both, and you should have both. God is in both ways. God is understanding, but also God is tough.
Are you saying God is both weak and strong?
No, because that's your opinion of weak.
No, I asked you what you saying that.
No, because I don't see it. I'm not saying that.
What do you mean by weak and tough?
God being that there's nothing wrong with being honest about the situation. Jesus in the garden. If we're gonna Bible thump, I'm a Bible thump.
What do you mean by God is both weak and tough?
I never said weak and tough. I said understanding and tough.
What's the difference between understanding and toughness?
Understanding is understanding what's going on, understanding that sometimes you may be getting caught up in the thought. And if that conversation comes up, you can be honest about it. Yeah, sometimes I may still get caught in the thought. Yeah, that's true, but I'm overcoming. What's wrong with being honest in that way instead of telling people, no, I don't get caught up in my thoughts no more. Nope. That's not me.
That's what I was saying earlier. Why are you going around saying that if that's not true in the first place?
But why not say it? But why not just be normal? Why not just be you? Like I would say that to Jesse.
You. That's not being you.
Right. No, but I would say that to you any kind of day. If you and I are having a conversation, I'm not watching what I need to and not say, well, of course you're wise with everybody, but I'm not sitting up here like worried about like, oh, he's going to judge me. Oh, he's going to do that. I tell you how I feel about it. Because for one, I confided in you as a mentor, still do. And I would say certain things. And I'm not worried about the judgment because I don't care. And but you love me for it, right? So what's wrong with what I'm doing? Why can't I do it with other people? If she's gonna judge me, bye.
Okay. Who you saying that?
Well, it sounds like
I don't know if you're gonna catch on that she's judging you. Sometimes.
But you will always catch on when the woman's judging you. And I'm not saying that she won't find ways to get around it. But if it's real and it's a genuine relationship, and for one, it'll always be in order, and you'll always be 2 steps ahead no matter what. You'll always be 2 steps ahead. She may trick you here and there, but you'll be able to turn back around and put her back in her place. And that's not by being in control, or it's not by none of that stuff. It's just that you are the leader in that relationship because it's real, it's genuine. You'll always be 2 steps ahead. So it doesn't even matter if she judges you. Like,
would you respect Christ if he were going around doing that?
He did.
He said how he was weak and strong.
He never said the word weak. But in the garden,
he was emotional.
But he said that by himself. Didn't he go off by himself to say that?
He went off and then he told the disciples. Let me just say real quick. He told the disciples real quick.
The gospel writer made this up.
See, look. but he goes in the garden and he tells God, he's like, God, let this cup pass from me. And then he tells the disciples, he's like, disciples, don't tell Peter and like somebody else, don't tell the others to come over here. I don't want them to see me like this. And what is he telling them? He doesn't want them to see me like this, but he told those two
But not a woman.
I'm like this.
But not a woman.
Right, but he
But
still
not his
showed
wife.
weakness. He still showed quote unquote weakness. So
Were they
hey,
women, Joel? Were those two people
it does.
women?
But
Right.
shouldn't a woman over? But see,
But I
like,
don't think anyone
how
can
do you guys
disagree.
want to disavow the point?
I don't think anyone disagrees with that. You could be an example even in those moments where it's like, yeah, I guess I am nervous, but look at me do it anyways and all that.
Right.
But
so why if
but
a
those
woman?
were women, he wasn't talking to.
Okay,
his wife.
so but if a woman should be overcoming, if
the
a
woman
woman
you're-
should be righteous, if a woman is supposed to
Right.
return to God, then she should be just like those other guys. Why not?
Exactly, and just like those other guys, that woman you're describing wouldn't even care or ask.
But
They'd
that
be like,
would be
"Okay,
a
Jesus,
non-vulnerable
you
woman.
You don't want to see it? Okay, that's
Right.
your request, so be it. I got
Exactly.
you.
Perfect example. That non-vulnerable woman, right, was like those guys, Peter and Paul, right? And
I
Jesus
gotta
trusted that was the case.
Jesse Lee Peterson, folks. Last thing you want to say, Jesse, before we move on here?
Yeah. What Hassan say about all this?
Hassan, what'd you say?
Is he awake?
Oh, I thought that was Hassan.
Oh, I thought that was him.
Hassan.
Oh, he might have had to go,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Oh,
no, he's
Hassan's
here.
in the building.
He came back.
He's here. He's here.
Oh, I just saw you to see you. I gotta go. I can't talk no more.
Well, listen to Hassan's comments afterwards. Thank you, Jesse Lee Peterson, folks. Did you want to ask
Pull
him
the
a
mic
question,
over.
or you just wanted to comment?
What do you think of all this?
Yeah.
I
what-
wanted to know what he thought about it.
Yeah. What do you think about all this?
Like what exactly? You're not on. Because there's a whole lot of
I
math.
got him.
Nice.
Just talk, Hassan. You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
What specifically, Jesse?
Oh, that's a good question. I forgot.
I know.
That was
forgot
Jesse's way to
everything.
get out of here.
Yeah.
Hassan, yeah, that was his way to get out of here. So,
Oh, okay.
you know, what does
Yeah.
Hassan have to say?
It's all a mess. I regret having my girlfriend on. This whole thing has gone to. Yeah.
Why?
It's not clear anymore. I don't know. Understand why not, but
No, I'm just kidding. But
Oh.
it's all just. It's interesting stuff. That's for sure. Opening the dialogue.
Yeah,
and,
I'm glad the conversation's happening.
Yeah, I think there are like small fine line, differences of like where that line is of being transparent and not, and I think they're minute things, but they're definitely interesting.
does Joel believe that there's a positive and a negative in God?
Are you asking me or asking Hassan?
How about here?
Oh.
So you see what I'm saying? That's a positive to do that.
Yeah, I think it's not negative. I think that you had said that you've seen it as a negative to be quote unquote weakness, but I don't see that as
That
weakness.
wasn't negative.
Right, but Joel doesn't see that as a negative. Just to
Yeah.
clear this up,
Yeah.
Joel doesn't see that as a negative, so he doesn't see a division in God. He sees everything he described as strength. So he doesn't see it
Also,
that
when
God
you
as
say
having
that's
two
a
sides the way
positive-
you're saying.
When you say that's a positive to tell her, yeah, I'm afraid, what do you mean by positive?
Well, exactly. I'm just trying to clear that up. He sees that as a positive, so he doesn't see two sides to God in the way you're describing.
But-
Just to move things along. I
Because
guess.
there is no positive or negative.
I think you have
It's true.
Hassan still on the camera.
Oh yeah, my
Right.
apologies.
All right, bye. I got to run. It was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Thank you for your call, Jesse.
Can't play no more.
Can't play no more.
Joel,
Yeah.
thank you for starting this mess.
I know. I'm glad
Yeah.
that we're having a conversation and live on air. So
Right.
it's good conversation. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Speaking of having the conversation, how come you guys didn't correct Stacy on the Instagram question?
Which one?
On the Instagram, on having an Instagram when your man asks you not to have one.
Oh, that's the chat. That's what they asked.
That's what I asked.
Oh, you don't want me to? Do you guys want me to answer it? I don't know who are they asking.
About
Anybody?
the Instagram question.
Yeah.
Well, what do you
Oh,
should
what
a
is-
woman like if you ask her to get rid of it?
Oh.
Should she get rid of it?
No, I mean I don't think that you should ask her to get rid of it. If you gotta ask her to get, and this is just my opinion, if you gotta ask her to get rid of it because you think she's gonna post something, why you with her in the first place? I don't
Okay.
think
Well, maybe you want to see if she'd do it. It's like, oh wow.
But that's control, though. That is control.
Maybe she's receptive to it, right? She's like, oh, I didn't see it that way. I'm like, okay, there's a little hope here.
Maybe
she has promise yet.
Maybe you can say certain things, but I don't think we should try to control her. But
all right, well, let me
That's
get
my
to.
Can I real quick just say one sentence on that?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick that, and this isn't going to be popular in the chat. But if you're not ready to like provide for that person or provide a better option for that person, whether that be marriage or whether that be like, hey, whatever, then I don't think you should. Well,
Totally.
for me,
sure. Okay.
I'm just saying.
I hear what you're saying.
I agree with that.
But notice,
100%.
And you know what? I may not necessarily disagree, but notice how you guys asked that, and she's like, okay, yeah, I totally agree. Women, they have too much auxiliary things. They want this, they want that, they want too much.
Yeah.
But then you ask her, okay, would you delete your Instagram? No, well, no. The man has to make sure he fills up that vacuum where that money used to come from. He better not even showing the willingness to okay, I'll have a lower lifestyle, but an honest man.
Yeah, and that's a red flag though. That should be a red flag right there. Like, okay, well, but why is he asking to the delete? That's another red flag on him to me. Why are you asking for the girl? You should delete your Instagram. Why? Is it because she acting like?
No, would you be willing to?
But for what? Why does she need to delete it?
Because I said so, and I don't like those pictures.
Oh,
and you don't need that income.
Okay.
And I don't like. This is a totally hypothetical scenario.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole thing. I don't know why this guy in this hypothetical scenario has thought this woman should not have this Instagram, but that's what he thinks, right?
Then if she disagrees with it, then that's when you know just to let her go.
Fair enough.
So
we got Grant, United Kingdom, sir. You're on the air.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey guys, yeah. Wow, so much has been said. I've been
sorry.
on the phone
I'll leave you
for
to
like
do the video. My bad. I've been messing around with it here. Go ahead, Grant.
Yeah, I've been on the. God, wow, you guys have been saying so much. It's like I had something to say, and then that kind of passed, and then I had something to say, that kind of passed. Let's just see what comes out of me. Like, what I want to ask all of you, I guess, specifically Joel, is. Do you view just really quickly, and then I want to ask something else, it's like a yes or no. Do you view, and I know you don't like this word now, but I just want to see. So you don't view honesty and vulnerability as the same thing?
Absolutely not.
Okay, right.
Do you?
Yeah, Joel never said men should be vulnerable. That's for sure.
You say you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You don't believe it's the same thing, or you do believe it's the same thing?
I don't believe it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
And one thing I'm starting to realize in the world, especially for people, I'm 28, nearly 29, and I feel like a lot of people in the room, your room right now, are like similar age to me. You know, we're at that age where we were programmed to believe that this is the time we're supposed to have children, begin to have children, begin to find a woman, and all these type of pressures that fundamentally I don't think are even real. It should all naturally come. But like the type of things we're talking about as well, like I feel like the reason you should never, because like what Jesse was saying is, I think the biggest contrast in this is there's the understanding in self, in the world within, that you have this fear of going on stage, or you're nervous about something, or whatever the case may be. You feel that feeling and that thought within the self, and just by observing it is the beginning of overcoming it. As soon as you need to do something outside of yourself, whether that's talking about it with someone, whether that's whatever the case may be, drinking, whatever, that's the beginning of you not being able to be still within.
Right.
And so, like, even if someone like my mother went to me, hey, are you nervous about this? And I felt that sensation of nerves, the beginning of saying yes is the beginning of believing it. It's the beginning of you not realizing ultimately that you're not nervous. It's the beginning of trying to find a relief, because it's like viewing, oh, if I go yes, at least I'm being honest. And in a way, that's a justification of believing that it still is you.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, it is not you. So the real answer would actually be no.
I get where you're going with it, and like I understand that once we get to that position to where we truly don't believe it, then we will say no. But even if we intellectually know that we shouldn't be nervous, but yet we still feel that nervousness, that means we still believe it's real, right? So
I don't think so, no.
Well, I feel like if you're feeling that, you already believed into it. So if you're saying no, you're almost, even though you know it's not real, right? But once you believed into it, you're still feeling that. So people are asking you, are you nervous? And you actually are in that moment, right? But you can say, I'm nervous, but I know that I shouldn't be, or I know that I'm caught up in a lie. But once you believe into it, you are a part of that, right?
Thank you, Grant. I'll allow you. Yeah, you can respond to him just real briefly here. We kind of hashed this topic a bit. Great. Thanks for your point, Grant.
Enough.
You can go ahead and respond real quick, and then we'll move on.
Okay, fair. Yeah. That's interesting. Like, yes, but just to me as a conclusion, to me personally, like, it goes really back to me that nothing in this world, because I think I know this like fully now. Nothing in this world can save you, and I think as soon as you start trying to articulate or manifest with it, out inside without outside yourself, like with words or whatever. Yes, this is I felt this, and this is what I felt, especially to a woman. It's the beginning of not overcoming it.
Fair enough.
Thanks, Grant.
God bless.
Thank you, Grant. Appreciate it. Moving the wheels, sir. We got some supers here. We'll do this real quick, run through some calls quick. We've been here an hour. Don't want to keep everybody who's been here helping this show rock really much longer than they need to be. So let's rock this real quick. And if you guys got to go, Joel, busy man, bringing us the best content so far, though. Appreciate that, Joel. Chris says, Nick, the blackest one on this simulcast. He sends multiple super chats to. Oh, I'm trying to do too many things here. You guys got it. My bad. Nick, the blackest one on this simulcast. That is true. I am the blackest one here. I always want to fight. Lord Bibby 42. Thank you for the super chat. Says it's fun listening to you guys fellowship, disagree, laugh, and find common ground. That was an amazing stream, Joel. God bless. Definitely. And Jabrail NTP with the super chat there with the coffee. Thank you for that. Thanks, guys. And I believe we got one recently here. Wake Up Call sends a super chat in a foreign currency. Thank you for that. Joel is missing the fact that women and men are not equals, and therefore being honest in that way would have a different effect on women than men. Ooh. Women will automatically change seeing a man without weakness leading her.
Oh.
If you feel free to respond if you like.
You might stay single.
Dang. What is he saying?
You might stay single. I don't know.
I feel like I've heard this before.
I don't know if you're gonna get married with that one. No, I disagree, man. I disagree with it, but
would he be better off that way though?
I disagree with that too. I don't think I used to think that, but I don't think I think it's possible for a woman to be awake enough and a man to be awake enough to be in agreement without agendas, without mess. And of course they have problems, but everybody means well. Everybody means well and they want the right thing. I believe that's possible. So everybody else, die.
Thank you for that. Let me get right to
Oprah.
TJ.
That's what it felt like.
TJ, UK, you're on the air. Appreciate it.
Hi, Nick. Joel, why was Christ monk?
Why was Christ monk?
That's not a sentence.
What? Christ was a monk?
Why was... Yeah.
I didn't know he was a monk.
Meaning he never married.
Oh.
Why did Christ never marry?
People went, oh.
I don't know. Maybe he wasn't into relationships.
Why is he the only one in all the scriptures of all the religions that didn't marry?
Well, that's incorrect. That's incorrect in itself because Paul didn't marry either. But
how, you don't know that he didn't have relations before that?
Who, Paul? But you said marry, and Paul made it clear that he didn't marry. But what is your question? What are you asking me? What is the point?
Why are you so obsessed with women?
Oh, see, I knew it was going somewhere. That's what I knew. Like, it was an "I got you" question. See, now these are the type of questions that you don't give life to because that's when they're using it against you. You don't. It's like no matter what I say, you're gonna already look at me as what you're gonna look at me as. But I'm not. What do you say?
TJ,
I don't know.
say
He
about
might
women?
be. He might be
Let me
asking
ask-
this sincerely to help you.
Yeah.
But what do you say? But I'm
Why are you
answering
so
it anyway.
obsessed with women?
It's not. There is no obsession. It's just honesty about it. Why are you?
Children,
TJ,
children, you're wasting time with.
let me ask you a question, TJ. Do you think this might be for you as well, Joel? Do you think you should even be in a relationship? Let's say you have to contend with showing weakness and contend with being honest and having to navigate that. Should you even be in a relationship then?
The only thing.
How
that
do you
we should
navigate
do,
that?
and
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The only thing that we should do, and that Christ is our example, is do God's will. If God decides to add a woman to us, then that's his decision, and that
Right.
may that the only thing we should do is seek God's will.
So if God added a woman onto the man, what does that have to do with Jesus not being married?
You would never have any of these conversations.
But let me go
There's no
back
way
to
Christ
that.
was thinking about these conversations.
You went around that really quick, though. You went around that. If God is going to add a woman, like you said, why were you trying to make the point that Jesus didn't have a relationship? Were you saying because it's better not to?
The only thing that we should do, Joel, is seek God's will.
But you're not. Now you're changing it. Now you're changing
I'm not,
it.
Joel. You just don't
But should you
understand
be?
it. You're very
what was
young,
your question?
Joel.
The original question was, you asked me, why was Jesus the only person not married, right? Why did you ask that?
Nick added that. So I said the only one that didn't get involved with women.
Right, that didn't get involved with women. So what is there virtue in that? Like, what was the point of why you asked that?
Just to try and provoke in you and trying to see why, if Christ is our best example, why is that the case?
Right.
The question to try and elicit a response in you so that you sit and contemplate and think, why is it that Christ was monk?
So do you think
what could that possibly be? Why is he the only one, and why is he the?
But do you think that it's better not? You think it's better not to get married? Or what are you saying? Like, what is your opinion on it? Are you saying that it's better not to?
You're very worldly. These are very worldly discussions.
Ask him a
answer
question,
the question,
or
man.
answer the question.
Yeah, what the?
Either ask him one or answer one.
I did
Is
ask
it
him.
better? Are you saying that it's better for Jesus not to get married? Is that the standard that we should follow? Yes or no?
I'll ask you this question: do you
Look at
think Christ would be having this discussion?
That's
I don't want to
question.
have. I don't want to. I'm done with the conversation. That's it.
No, you guys confused him because you told him to answer the question or ask another question.
But he won't answer my question. He's not confused. He knows what he's doing. He won't answer my question. Do you think that it's best that, like Jesus, we should not get married? Yes or no?
Joel, I don't have an opinion on that. All I care about is seeking God's will. If he adds a woman to me, he does. If he takes a woman away, he does. All we are to do is to seek God's will. I don't have an opinion about whether
I'll say
it's
straight
right
away,
or wrong.
we can all agree it's obviously the most alpha thing to be just only God. All men who get into some, as alpha as you may be, you still got married. See, so you fell into hell a little bit. I think we can all agree the most alpha thing is.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm
but
missing
for the
it.
rest of us who are gonna maybe get married and all that, for the rest of us down here, you know what I mean?
I was in the fallen state when I got married.
Interesting.
The benefit that you guys have, if you have these callers that call in that are much older and much more experienced than you guys, and you can learn from them, learn from us, and hear what we're saying, and what all that we should be doing, just as like when we listen to Jesse, is seeking God's will.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, GJ. Appreciate the thought. We got more calls, man. We're gonna move the wheels here. Unless you want to respond real quick.
All the best.
But you can hang up with him.
Okay, thanks, TJ.
I think TJ from the jump was trying to. He had an agenda. He wanted me to answer a certain way, but then he changed it up, and that's why you had to deal with people like that. And when women will do that. Women will do that. They'll get you. I got your question to prove a point, but when you're 2 steps ahead, you can call them out on it, and then now you rearrange the question and you give it back to them. Now they can't answer it, and that's what you get, TJ. But you seem nice, but that's what you get.
I don't think he came in. You may be misreading him as coming in kind of like a snake.
No, he did, because then he said, "Why are you so obsessed with women?" He did a snaky comment.
Well, but I don't know if that was. I don't think he said that maliciously necessarily.
I think he did, but maybe not. But no, he did.
He may have. He may really have been just trying to get you.
Oh man.
Anyway,
we're gonna move this a little faster. We pretty much only got like 5 minutes here. I almost forgot about the Fallen State. We have the Fallen State taping coming up right up here.
Nice.
So we got just a few minutes here. Everything good? Oh, sorry. Let me get to just one more here. Kaya, North Carolina, you're on the air. We're going to move quick here.
Amazing. Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Just fine, Kaya. Thanks for your call.
I caught the tail end of Jesse calling in, and y'all were talking about, it sounded like Joel shared with a woman, that he was nervous about doing the church.
Yes.
Right. Am I tracking?
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree with everyone but Joel that there's never a reason for a man to be, what we're calling it, honest, but there's really not any good that can come when a man shares that kind of information about whatever thought he had or nervousness or feeling or whatever, because the woman, even a seeking woman, she is only asking because it's for ego. She wants to comfort, or she wants to relate, or she wants to have the inside scoop on what he's thinking about, or be like, there for him or something. I don't see any benefit in him sharing with fear, which is a weakness, or maybe in the after fact could say, man, believe it or not, I was nervous before I did that, but I got through it, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not really honesty when you talk about things that you're dealing with in the moment. It's really not honesty. It's just kind of sharing venting. It's like venting.
That's fair. I disagree. That's fair, though. That's a fair take. I disagree.
Well, yeah, I know you disagree.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I just don't. I mean, for me, I ask people if they're nervous or not all the time, because I'm genuinely curious. Like, how are they dealing with this, processing what they're about to go through? And I mean, my heart is pure. At least I believe my heart is pure when I ask it. So I don't see why a woman's heart can't also be pure, depending on the woman. I know that it's hard to find that, but why a woman's heart can't be pure in asking if I was nervous. So that's just how I see it.
Well, and I don't think it's a question of a pure heart or not a pure heart, but when she gets that information from you, it's just not doing her any good. That's what I'm saying. For her to understand that a man was afraid, it really doesn't do any good for her.
Right, but I don't think that she's asking because she's trying to see if it's going to do good. I think that she may just want to know, like, are you nervous? And then when she sees you overcome that stuff by doing it, facing it, maybe one day, and maybe this is a teachable moment, maybe it's not, but maybe one day it should be like, man, I remember he was nervous, but yeah, he faced it anyway.
Yeah, and that's the part I don't agree with you on, is that she's just asking, like, to relate. And I'm just speaking from my own experience. I was married before, and when my ex-husband would share things with me that he was going through, be it at work or whatever it was, and I would find myself, like, talking him through it, or I could see myself on the inside. I didn't know what I was looking at, but I could see this frustration where I'd be like, why is he telling me?
You know why?
Why is he sharing with me?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But do you know why that is? Is because you had a judgment. In your heart, there was judgment. You had an opinion about it. You weren't
100%.
genuinely right. So you had the wrong intention. But that just because you had the wrong intention doesn't mean that everybody's going to have that same intention. But I agree.
Right, and I agree. I agree with that too, but when it comes to people in the fallen state, which most of us are, even those of us who are seeking, until we arrive, we're still in a fallen state.
Right.
So even though we may not be showing that we have the judgment, we still do, because we still have it on ourselves. So as long as we're still judging ourselves, we're still judging other people.
Right.
We may not see it then and there, but we are. But, I'm not, whatever you share, you do that, but it sounds a little bit like catering a little, like there's this hope that, because you mentioned, well, you'll never get married with that mindset or whatever, but
is there
I've seen it myself.
Totally.
Go ahead.
I don't cut you off, Kaya. Finish off.
No. I was gonna say I've just seen within myself where I'm at currently, that anytime, dang Nick, I lost my whole train. Basically, I just don't see the benefit. Like, I understand more why there are some things that men don't need to talk about, and when women are looking to know, it's like that ego nature. As long as it's even a tiny, tiny bit alive, they store it away. It's like stored away. Like, oh, you told me that. When the time comes, I'm going to bring this up and use it against you, even if it's in my own private thought.
Yeah.
And
Even if they don't intend to at
until
first.
God completely... Say it again?
Even if they don't intend to use that against you at first.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
You
because
just send
it's still
people
in
spiraling.
there.
Satan gets busy in their
It's still
imagination.
in there, right? It's like you're feeding this invisible beast, right? And you don't know that beast is hungry until it's time to eat. And now it's like, okay, well, I have all this food inside of me to use against you. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
A little crazy, but
that's fair. No, and that's a fair point. And if she wants to, judge the situation, and that's why, because like you said, people in that fallen state, you have to understand where they are. If they're in that fallen state, you know, if you say certain things, they are going to judge you. So it's best not to say it because you know they're going to judge you. But not everybody is there. Not everybody is in that position of judgment. And I still feel like, at the end of the day, say if they are in the fallen state and you say something and they judge you, that's their problem. That's their judgment, not yours.
right. And I do agree with that. But then that's why I framed it. What good is it doing? Because yes, that is the woman's choice. You know, that's her thing if she's still judging. But if you're giving opportunities for that, you're not really leading the way.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because there are opportunities to say, yeah, I could say this, but maybe this is the time to lie.
Can you respond to that? You want to respond to that, Joel? As I let Kaya go.
You can go. Yeah.
Kaya, appreciate your call. We got to move. We got to move along
Yes, sir.
faster
Thanks,
here.
Nick. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your call, Kaya.
You just got to trust that sometimes you may be led, and this is what I believe. You may be led in a moment to speak on something, regardless if that person's going to judge it. You still may be led to speak it. So you don't at all times not speak it because you're afraid of their judgment. You may just need to speak it and see how they react. If they react a certain way, then you know you got to leave them. If they don't, then you know you got to keep them. But I'm not into hiding. But anyway, go ahead, Nick.
Thank you. No, thank you for the
Thank you,
response
Kaya.
there.
I appreciate that.
Man, I really want to finish up these calls, guys, but we got to hit the fallen state big time here. We don't want to dilly-dally any longer and hold up the crew. But honestly, appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate Joel, James, Hassan for the conversation and everything. You know, I got to put respect on Joel on this. I don't see how people don't see the little bit of light in that particular situation where you're not going to have all the answers, but you're fine with not having them. And being light in that situation. The conversation's been great. Killed it, guys. Best content so far. Much appreciated. What else? That's it, y'all. That's it. That's the show. Honestly, that's the show. Much appreciated. Join me tomorrow for American Anchor Baby. Thursday, we got more. For Wednesday, American Anchor Baby at noon. Hake Report. Jesse Lee Peterson is back as well, and all that. Much appreciated. That's the show. Anything else you guys want to say before we close out here?
No, thank you for rolling this into another, like a part 2, even though it was on your show.
The showdown.
Cool. Appreciate it. That was good. I feel like it got the most exciting on your show, which was good. So I think that's a good thing. But thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Any last words if you guys wanted to jump in before I close out here?
Don't jump to conclusions.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Showdown show.
Yeah. Stay honest, y'all. Stay honest, chat. You know, honesty is perfect. You know, that honesty you have already inside. You know what's up. You know what's going on, and you know what's really happening, and you know how you feel. You know how you seem, and you know how you're acting. So stay honest. I think we can all agree on honesty, right? Much appreciated, Anchor. That's it. The show. Peace and take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Whoa. Messed up. Now take care. Bye.